Hello guys, welcome to another video. First of all, I said that this story doesn't belong to me, so if you read the full story for yourself, you can go down in the description to find the link to the original post and read the full story for yourself. That being said, let's get into the video. Legacy Chapter 25 and Part 25. Aftermath. Konoha had proven once again why it was considered the strongest of the elemental nations. Konoha was pitted against two other villages, one of them being one of the top 5 of, and yet Konoha came victorious. Moreover, in war no victory is without sacrifice, and as such Konoha lost a few shinobis whose names would forever be engraved in the memorial stone. Naruto was slowly regaining consciousness and opened his eyes, only to be blinded and brought his hand to cover them. He slowly adjusted to the light and looked up to see the white ceiling. He took the scent of the place and it smelled like disinfectant. Great. I am in the hospital, Naruto mumbled to himself and tried to raise up but felt a weight on his chest. He looked down and saw a mop of dark blue hair that belonged to Hinata. She was curled against him with her head on his chest drooling. It was a funny sight to see. He chuckled and softly shook Hinata, trying to wake her. She began to stir and open those white eyes that Naruto loved so much. She rubbed them to shake off her sleepiness and took her surroundings to find Naruto, those deep blue eyes staring at her. "Comfortable?" Naruto asked with an amused smile. "Very much, thank you," Hinata replied and tried to bury her face closer to his chest. "How long have you been here?" Naruto asked. "I didn't want to sleep alone at the house, so I infiltrated the hospital after hours so I could cuddle with you," Hinata said, slightly blushing, and Naruto chuckled. "How is everyone doing?" Naruto asked, sitting up and stretching his arms. "Everyone we know is fine, but the village did suffer its casualties," Hinata explained, looking down. "I understand," Hinata said. He gently rubbed her ear chin, making her lock eyes with her. "Cheer up," Naruto said, and slightly kissed her on the lips. The quick kiss became a hot make out session with Naruto leaning against the wall and Hinata startling him and holding him by his neck. "Oh yeah, this is golden." You tries to cheer up his lover by kissing her deeply, his hands feeling her soft skin. Moments later, his hands start roaming down electric, a small moan of bliss from Hiromi. Jiraiya said out loud as he was scribbling furiously on his notepad. "This kid will be even better than his father." Jiraiya continued on writing as a small trickle of blood flowed from his nose. "What are you doing, Jiraiya-sama?" Jiraiya looked up to see Hinata with a very sweet smile on her face. Jiraiya paled at that particular smile, and he could swear he saw a vision of the Shinigami behind her. "Have mercy," Jiraiya said, pleading. "Not today, Jiraiya-sama, not today," Hinata said before her Byakugan flared. "The secret taijutsu, 1,000 years of pain," Hinata said, and empowered her fingers with chakra that slammed them right in Jiraiya's butt, sending him flying to Naruto's bed and crashing into the wall. Naruto was wondering what this commotion was until he saw his perverted of a godfather flying into his room. Jiraiya crashed into the wall and fell to the ground, crying enemy tears with his ass smoking. Hinata approached the pervert, who recoiled in fear as she approached. She quickly found his notepad and threw at the air and burned it to the ashes with a small Kaiten fire jutsu. This particular jutsu was taught to her by Kuronai, who burned every icha she found. "No!" Jiraiya yelled, crying as he watched his precious orc turn to ashes. Naruto just chuckled at the antics of his godfather, who was now getting back on his feet while nursing his British bottom. How are you doing, Gaki? Jiraiya asked. I'm good. I just had chakra exhaustions. I am good as new now. Naruto replied, good, good. Jiraiya replied as he saw the ashes of his notebooks flying off the window and snack his head. Naruto looked around, and when he didn't see it, he decided to ask Jiraiya. So, ever since Naruto said, gaining a tick mark from Joraya. Have you seen my fan? Naruto asked. I have it right here. Joraya said and took out a scroll from his back and unsealed his fan. Joraya picked it up and Naruto raised an eyebrow. Joraya saw the surprised face of Naruto and asked what was wrong. I am just surprised you can lift the weapon so easily. Do you do realize that thing eats a lot of chakra, Naruto said, and Jiraiya sensed his chakra to notice almost 20% missing. This thing just ate a fifth of my chakra just by picking it up. How can you use it? Jiraiya asked, confused as he placed the fan near his bed. That fan was created by the sage of six paths, and only a descendant from him can use his weapons without the massive chakra drain. Naruto explained, and Jiraiya nodded. There are only two people left on this earth world that can use these weapons, me and my grandmother. Naruto said, speak of which, Sarutobi sensei told me to take you both to his office when you wake up. Jiraiya said, and Naruto nodded. Jorai called a nurse over so she could do a quick check-up on Naruto and allow him to leave. He is completely back to normal. You can go, the nurse said, and Naruto jumped off the bed. He quickly got dressed, picked his fan, and placed it on his back, and they all left towards the Hokage Tower. Naruto! Jiraiya called out, and Naruto focused his attention to him. Can't you Hirashin us to the tower? Jiraiya asked, and Naruto dropped his father's S rank space-time ninjutsu that was used to decimate a battalion was reduced to transportation. I can, but I won't. I want to stretch my legs, Naruto said, and Jiraiya pouted. They were calmly walking through the streets without a care in the world. Naruto got so caught in the thought that he didn't notice the road ahead of him and crashed into a civilian, knocking him to the ground and making Naruto recoil a bit. When the civilian noticed who he crashed into, quickly rose up and bowed to Naruto before he could even apologize. My apology is Uchiha-sama, the civilian said, and everyone raised an eyebrow. Uchiha-sama? Naruto asked, and the civilian flinched. Hi, the civilian replied, slightly fearful. Figures, Naruto thought. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, for now anyways. You don't have to bow to me. I hold no grudges against you or any of you. Naruto said, and the civilian sighed in relief. He didn't want to piece of the grandson of Uchiha Madara himself, even more after what he heard Naruto did during the invasions. Thank you, Naruto-san, the civilian said and left. That was interesting. Jorah said, and Hinata nodded. Indeed, maybe they will stop shouting demon everywhere I go. That was a plus, Naruto said and looked at the other civilians walking in the streets, but the looks Naruto used to receive weren't there anymore. In the beginning, they held hatred. After he showed them the QB, they held fear, but now they seem to hold respect and admiration. Hokage Tower. They all arrived at the Hokage Tower and went through the doors to see the old Hokage giggling like a madman with blood trickling from his nose while he had a few Kagebushons working on his paperwork. The Hokage giggled once more and Naruto saw it drop only to see Hinata disappear in a blur and snatch the Hokage's book and destroy it with the same fire jutsu. Are all men perverts? Hinata asked out loud and got a sigh from the Hokage. How are you feeling? Naruto-kun, the Hokage asked, and outdid himself against the Naruto outdid himself against the Kage. Okay, it isn't every day we see a 14-year-old boy hold his own against Kage level shinobis. I'm good as new, Naruto replied. Now, let's get into business, the Hokage said, and his clenched his belt and he took his seat behind his desk. Hey, oh, by the way, Gigi, Naruto said, getting the attention of the Hokage. Did you take the scroll I made with I had with me because I had Gaara and his team sealed in there. Naruto said, yes, don't worry, they are all in lockdown pending interrogation with the pending negotiation with the Sand. The Hokage explained, and what is the Sand saying? Jiraiya asked. It is up to the council now, since the Kazekage died in the invasion and they took a very heavy blow. They came at us with a full battalion of almost 1,000 shinobis, and they can't risk war against us, so they will comply with our demands. The Hokage explained. What did you ask? Naruto asked. Financial compensations for the damages dealt to the village, and we are keeping Gara as another Jinjuriki, and their team should they choose to stay as well. The Hokage said, and Naruto raised an eyebrow. I know you may not like it, but the Biju decreed the decide decreed the power shift in the villages. Until now, we only had the Kyobi. Now we will have two if Gaara decides to turn friendly to our side. The Hokage said. Naruto brought his hand to his chin and a chin in thought and replied, "He might. He holds no love for his village as he was treated like me." Good, the Hokage replied. Now they got sand like Kumo and Iwa, both having two Jinjurikis. The Leaf never prided themselves on making weapons of Jinjurikis and proved it many times. They won three wars by having skilled shinobis and not relying on Jinjurikis to do their work. But before that, we should fix Gaara's seal, Naruto said, and Jiraiya rose an eyebrow in confusion. After I placed my demonic suppression seal on Gaara, I noticed some irregularities. The seal that held Shukaku was designed for inanimate objects. It's nothing more than an advanced storage seal. That is why Gaara is so unstable. It is possible also affecting Shukaku. Naruto explained and Jiraiya nodded. We will take care of that later. But now I have other concerns that Hokage explained before taking out a file and handing it to Naruto to read. What is it? Naruto asked as he picked the file and started reading it. The report on how good Uchiha Sasuke did during the invasion based on Shinobi Saw and Kakashi himself, the Hokage explained. Invasion report. Name Uchiha Sasuke. Team affiliation Team 7 under Hatake Kakashi. Rank Genin. Team assigned Nara Shikamaru and Haruno Sakura. Description: Sasuke displayed a high level of skill and responsibilities by taking charge of a Genin team and provide critical assistance in the civilians' evacuation, as well defeating multiple tuning level shinobis from both sand and sound. Recommendation: promotion to tuning. Okay, now what? Naruto asked, slightly confused as why the Hokage would show this to him. I want you and Hinata's opinion on this, the Hokage explained. Why us? Naruto asked. You are friends with him and know him better than anyone, the Hokage asked. Friend is a very strong word, Naruto said, and sighing. We were pulling his thoughts together. I have no doubt that Sasuke is strong enough for tuning. It's just his attitude that endangers this. If he does get promoted, his ego will skyrocket and he might conflict if someone of his same rank is chosen as leader. Naruto responded, in the other hand, not promoting him will enrage him even more, as he will take that the village is holding him back with Orochimaru's offering of power. He might be a flight risk. Naruto finished his explanation. What about you, Hinata-chan? Naruto asked. I agree with you. He is too focused on revenge, and both choices having drawbacks. Choices have drawbacks. However, promoting him and placing him with a strong leader will solve this problem. Hinata replied, and the Hokage nodded in comparison and would take this later on with the council. I will take it into consideration. Now on to the next manner, and this relates to you, Naruto, the Hokage said, and Naruto focused on him. I am too old for this job. I should have retired, but when your father died, I was forced to take back the hat. The Hokage said, sighing. The invasion was the proof that I am no longer strong enough to lead this village, and as such, I choose a successor. The Hokage explained. Are you giving the hat to the pervert? Naruto asked of handingly and got a smack on the head from Joraiya. I'm not a pervert. I'm a super pervert. Joraiya said, cough. The Hokage forced a cough that forced the cough silence the bickering duo. I would have asked him, but he would have refused. The Hokage said, and Joraiya nodded yes. It was true. His spine network was of too much importance to the village, and yes, besides. He wasn't the type of man to be strapped behind a desk 8 hours a day. Now this brings me to the main reason why I asked Joraiya to bring you in. The Hokage said, but before he continued, Naruto interrupted him. You are making me the Hokage? Naruto asked in disbelieving look. Not yet, I am afraid, the Hokage replied, chuckling. The reason I called you here is because Joraiya wants you to accompany him into the search of replacing of my replacement, Senju Tsunade. The Hokage finished with an amused smirk on his old face. Really, Naruto been thinking of going to search the last piece of family he has, even if she doesn't know about him. Yes, although she might be a bit reluctant into coming back to the village, the Hokage said, sighing. He hasn't been able to cope with her loss, and she tours herself into drinking and gambling. Don't worry, I will bring her back to the village. That's a promise, and I never go back on my word. Naruto said, now this brings us to the final topic of this mission. The Hokage said, and Naruto sighed. They had already been there for quite a while, and it seemed it wasn't going to be ending anytime soon. After this, I am calling a council meeting to give the promotions. You will be promoted to Chunin, which gives you the right to have a council seat as the head of the Senju Uzumaki and Namikaze clan. The Hokage said, and Naruto nodded. So have you decided on your name? And if you have, take the seat right now. The Hokage asked. Naruto once again was lost in thought. The Uzumaki name has been with him since his birth, but it's too far away, and apparently he is the last of the Uzumaki clan along with Tsunade. He would like to honor the Namikaze name of his father, but that never belonged to any clan, and he wouldn't want to forget the Senju clan. The Uchiha name was out of the question, and as such, the choice was only between Senju and Namikaze. It was tough choice in the end. Naruto would be leaving on him to die, and as such, he decided that he wouldn't let the name of the founders of Konoha to be forgotten in history. I would like to take the Senju name from now on. From now on, I am Senju Naruto. Naruto said. The Hokage smiled. It was a good choice, as it were any other, but Sarutobi liked that he chose the founder's clan name. Are you taking the seat now? The Hokage asked. Naruto mumbled in thought. I don't know. There is going to be a lot of noise because of this. Naruto said. Yes, but they can't deny your heritage. The Hokage explained. I will take it. Now let's go make some noise. Naruto said, smirking at the thought of all those yelling civilians. The Hokage's sweat dropped. The Hokage flared his chakra, and an Anbu dropped from the ceiling and kneeled in front of him, waiting for orders. Summon the council and call Uchiha, Sasuke, and Naruto. The Hokage said. Hi, the Anbu replied and disappeared in smoke. Let's go face the music, Senju. Naruto is the music, Senju Naruto. The Hokage said, chuckling, and they all left the Karu office to went towards the council room. The council room. It took about half an hour before all the clan heads could come. They were all seated in the traditional place. The Hokage, Jiraiya, Naruto, and Hinata walked through the double door and saw that the council was already assembled. The Hokage sat down on and noticed the room. To his left were the clan heads, and there was an empty seat closest to him, followed by Inazuka Sumi, head of the Inazuka clan, Hyuga Hiyashi, head of the Hyuga clan, Aburame Shibi, head of the Aburame clan, Nara Shikamaru, head of the Nara clan, Yamanaka Inoichi, head of the Yamanaka clan, and finally Akimichi Joja, head of the Akimichi clan. To his right were his advisors Shimura Danzo, Mikokata Hamura, and Utatan Koharu. Next to them was the civilian side of the council. It considered of the most important consisted of the most important civilians in the village that ran the most shops and provided food, clothes, and other materials and service for the shinobi use. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, grandson of Uchiha. My name is Uzumaki Naruto, grandson of the legendary Uchiha Madara. Sasuke remembered those words as he watched Naruto walk into the room. His long hair and the fan on his back made Sasuke see his teeth as he was plainly reminding of his utter defeat. The council is in session. The Hokage said. We were looking at the Genins in front of him. We are here today to award promotion to these excellent Genins for their skill and work during the Invasion, the Hokage started. Nara Shikamaru stepped forward. The Hokage called out and Shikamaru stepped forward as requested. For great planning during the match and working during the invasion. We promote you to Chunin. Congratulations and keep up the good work, the Hokage said and threw him a flat jacket. Troublesome, the Shikamaru said before putting his flat jacket on and stepping back. Hyuga Hinata, the Hokage said out loud, and Hinata stepped forward. For great skill in taijutsu and ninjutsu, and for remaining calm at the face of a stronger opponent, we promote you to Chunin. Congratulations, the Hokage said with a smile. Thank you, Hokage-sama, Hinata replied. Uchiha Sasuke, the Hokage called out, and he stepped forward with his traditional cocky smirk. You are a special case. After many deliberation and taking into account the work you did during the invasion, you are promoted to Chunin. As this Sasuke smirk got even wider. But any sign of insubordination or failure in conduct, and you are stripped from the rank. Understood? Stripped from the rank. Understood? The Hokage said in a serious voice. leaking a bit of tea. Of course, Hokage-sama. The Sasuke replied with still with his smile. And finally, the Hokage said, and shifting his attention towards Naruto, for great skill in debating not only Shukaku but also providing great assistance during the invasion in defeating the Kazekage and providing assistance to me against Orochimaru. I award the rank of elite Chunin to Senju Naruto. The Hokage said, and immense silence followed. Immense silence followed. Everyone was wondering if they heard their Hokage right correctly. What? Sasuke yelled out and pretty much resumed the thought of everyone in the room. How can he be a Senju? Sasuke said, speaking the Senju name. He has the Sharingan. Naruto started. Everything I said is true. Naruto is the Sasuke said. There is spelling mistake here. Alright. And everything I said is true. Naruto is the last remaining Senju in the village. The Hokage explained, and surprising enough, no one yelled or said anything, and they just stared at the Hokage waiting for an explanation. You all know that Senju Tsunade had a daughter, right? The Hokage asked, and the clan heads nodded. Yes, but she died. Hashi started in a calm tone. That Naruto was becoming more surprising by the moment. Her death was picked by me to protect her from the CRA. The Hokage said, and they all gasped. To think the Hokage would go so far to such lengths to protect someone from CRA. Her death was faked, and Uzumaki Kushina was born. The Hokage said, and Shukaku is Shukaku. His eyes widened in realization. Troublesome, he said without thinking, making the Hokage focus on him. Trust Nara to figure the rest. The Hokage thought. Would you like to do the honors? The Hokage asked. Troublesome, the Shikaku said before pulling his thoughts together. You all remember the red-haired loudmouth, right? Shukaku asked, and everyone nodded. After all, Konoha's red death wasn't easily forgotten. We all know who she was always around, right? Sukaku asked, almost rhetorically. Why can't I pronounce that word? Yes, that hussy was always around Minato-kun. The pink banshee said. The moment she said hussy, Naruto's chakra spiked to the level that everyone gasped in a dry throat due to his pressure alone. However, he didn't release any ki. As such, the civilians were all oblivious to that. If Naruto is a member of the Senju clan, the only possible outcome would be if he is Kushina's son, and looking at him, blonde hair, blue eyes, I am confident, assuming that Minato was the father. Shukaku said, and everyone's eyes widened. Who's Minato? Sasuke asked, who was obviously Sasuke asked, who was obviously. You want to know who my father was, right? Naruto asked to Sasuke, who nodded. My father was Minato Namikaze, Yondame Hokage, and Uchiha Madara's son. Naruto said, and everyone's jaw hit the ground. Who would, in their sanity, would believe that Madara's son would become the Hokage? It's ironic. The son of the greatest trader become our biggest hero. Naruto cited out loud. And the funny part of all is that Madara hated the Senju, and his son ended up marrying one. Shukaku said, and everyone chuckled. So that means that you are the great grandson of Senju Hashirama, and the son short and you are so that means you are the great grandson of Senju Hashirama, the second Hokage, the great grandnephew of Senju Tobirama, the sorry, let me repeat that. So that means that you are the great grandson of Senju Hashirama, the first Hokage, great grandnephew of Senju Tobirama, the second Hokage, grandson of Uchiha Madara, and the son of Namikaze Minato, the fourth Hokage. Sumi said, whistling. That was one powerful lineage right there, and you people treated him like garbage. Sumi growled at the civilian side who held their heads down in shame. But that's not all. The Hokage said, gathering their attention to him. I am resigning, and as such, I have chosen my successor. The Hokage said, and many were shocked by this blunt statement. After this meeting, Jiraiya, along with Naruto, will be retrieving Senju Tsunade, Naruto's grandmother, for the position of Goddaime, fifth Hokage. The Hokage said, and the people were happy with this choice. Tsunade was considered a princess in the village and was a Senju with the power of a Kage, so she was a perfect fine choice. A very strong lineage indeed, Hiyashi commented, but everyone had the tone which was said. A fine choice. Perhaps my teaching weren't a total loss. Hiyashi thought discreetly looking at Hinata. Even if they were low in numbers, the Senju clan was still one of the most powerful and renowned clan in the entire world. Enough! Sasuke yelled, making everyone jump from the silent sounds like you are an affront to the Uchiha afferent, afferent, afferent to the Uchiha clan. You fall that you fan a fan and have the Sharingan at the end. Yet you choose to honor the Senju name. Sasuke said, you are a disgrace and unworthy of such weapon." Sasuke spat. You want my fan now?" Naruto asked, "Yes, I demand you hand that fan as it belongs to an elite Uchiha like me." Sasuke said, and Naruto laughed, and Sasuke got a tick mark on his face. "You don't even know how ironic back that statement is," Naruto said, and Sasuke got confused and was getting angrier by the moment. "I will explain everything, so just listen." Naruto started. Sasuke, can you tell me what are the levels of the Sharingan?" So Naruto asked, crowding around, prodding around a bit, wondering if he knew about the Mangekyo. The Hokage sent Naruto a look that clearly said, "Do you think it's wise?" But Naruto nodded. It would become knowledgeable at any point. Become common knowledge at any point in this in the in time. So he just wanted to get this over with, so he didn't have anything more to worry about. Three levels, from 1 tomoe to 3 tomoes in each eyes, Sasuke simply said, but Naruto sent a knowing look. "Fine, there is a fourth level called Mangekyo Sharingan, but can only be obtained by killing your best friends." Sasuke blurted out without wanting making Naruto raise an eyebrow. Naruto knew of that because Kurama told him about it, but how could Sasuke know? How do you know about how do you know how to activate it? Naruto asked, narrowing his eyes. "Itachi told me to come after him when I had the same eyes as him." Sasuke replied, and Naruto seemed to accept the answer. "Now let me tell you all something that was long been forgotten," Naruto said, and everyone focused on him. "We all know the legend of the Sage of Six Paths, right?" Naruto asked, and everyone nodded. They were all shinobis, and as such, they are all old tales of their father. Known the tales of their father, the Sage of Six Paths was a shinobi of unparalleled power. He was even considered to be a god. During his life, he had two sons. His older son inherited the sage's eyes and founded the Uchiha clan, and the younger brother inherited the sage's body and founded the Senju clan. Naruto said, and everyone raised an eyebrow at the statement. How do you know all of this, Naruto-san? Shibi asked. Let's just say that the fireball is an endless bit of no information, Naruto said, explained, and his stomach growled at the name Fireball nickname. Moving on, when his life was ending, he had to choose who would carry on his work, and as such, he chose the younger brother. A younger brother, the Senju leader. However, this didn't sit well with the Uchiha brother, who thought that being the firstborn deserved to be the one to lead the world to peace through strength. Naruto said, and everyone was focused on his explanation. The silence was disturbing. As such, the older brother challenged the younger one to a battle for the title, but lost. Angry with his loss, he decided to exterminate the Senju before it even began, but he would need more power to do that. He decided to perform a blood ritual to transform normal people into Uchiha capable of using the Sharingan. Naruto explained, and everyone's whined. The benefit of such ritual were unparalleled and could easily bring Konoha to heights never before received. The Uchihas created the blood ritual The Uchihas created by the blood ritual were half-blooded, while the ones that came from the older brother's line were called elite or pure-blooded. Everyone understands? Naruto asked, and everyone nodded. The pure blood line was my grandfather's line, going through Minato into me. That's my grandfather. I assume that my grandfather is dead from the letter I have from him. So I am the last pure-blooded Uchiha, making Sasuke a half-blood. Naruto explained, and Sasuke see that he didn't want to be a half-blooded created by some ritual. And what's the difference between the pure blood and the half-blood? Shukaku asked curiously. The key difference lies in the activation of the fourth and the final stage of the Sharingan. In the pure blood, Uchiha's the final level is achieved, while like any other through training and life and death situation like mine. Naruto said, and closed his eyes. He opened and showed them the normal Sharingan, and but then the Sharingan started to slowly spin until it became his Mongekyo. This is my Mongekyo I activated when the civilian sent to Jonis to kill me. I have got to thank you for that, Naruto says, reacting with his EMS glowing in all its glory. Everyone was drawn to his eyes, his blood-red eyes that seemed to give off power beyond anything ever imagined. The true power of the Sharingan, the power of Uchiha Madara. He just became much more dangerous. Yes, he thought as he watched his Mongekyo glow. But there is one more key difference, Naruto said, and broke everyone's trance just from looking at his eyes. If a half-blood Uchiha awakens his Mongekyo, the more they use it, the more the eye gets sealed until there is nothing more than darkness, Naruto said, and everyone's eyes widened so that the price of power for the half-blood, that's the price for the power of the half so that's the price for power for the half-blood. That's why I said you don't know how ironic packed that statement was. You called yourself an elite Uchiha, but in the end you are nothing more than a copy. Naruto explained as he deactivated his eyes and waited for the explosion. That came out of that came out a little harsh than I wanted. Naruto thought in respond. How dare you mock me, Sasuke said to his believing every word. Is there any proof you can give? Sasuke asked. Just one, my pen. Naruto said and removed it from his bag. This pen was created by the sage of six paths, and such Only a true descendant can wield it without massive chakra consummation. Naruto explained, Hinata-chan, can you check Sasuke's chakra levels? Naruto asked if he gave the fan to Sasuke and he didn't have enough chakra, he would hit the ground dead like a sack of potatoes. He's around Jonin level. Naruto said, and Hinata said, and Naruto nodded. You want to prove that you are a pure-blooded Naruto asked Sasuke, who nodded, then picked my fan without fainting. Naruto said and offered the fan to Sasuke. The moment Sasuke just touched the fan, he collapsed onto the ground on his knee, taking deep breaths. Is that good? Is that enough proof? Naruto asked as he replaced the fan on his back. There are only two people in the whole world that can use the fan, me and my grandmother Senju Tsunade, Naruto explained, and everyone was still processing everything that they heard until now. It doesn't matter that you can't be strong. It doesn't mean that you can't be strong, Sasuke. It only means that the next level of the eye isn't worth the cost. Naruto explained. He knew that this explanation would please Sasuke even more, but he had to find out he had to find out sometime. I will make my own choices, Senju. Sasuke said and left the council room without even asking for permission and slammed the door shut. It was in a it was inve- inve- inevitable. The Hokage said, I have a question, Danzo said, and Naruto shifted his attention towards him. Do you know how to do this blood ritual? Danzo innocently asked. No, but even if I did, I wouldn't reveal it, Naruto said, and Danzo scoffed. I hold no hate for them, but the half-blooded Uchiha shouldn't have been created in the first place, Naruto explained. That's a bit hard. That's a bit harsh coming from you. Inoichi said, "True, but you know the Uchihas and their their hunger for power. If they all knew how to achieve the next level, what do you think they would do?" Naruto called the Rakadi. He asked. I think Itachi wiping them out was a blessing in disguise. Naruto said, You have no idea how right you are. The Hokage thought to himself as he did as his personal counsel Well, this was a very strange day of revelation. Hamura said, Yes, is there anything else you want to discuss? The Hokage asked, and a pink banshee raised her hand. Yes, Hokage-sama, nice. Since Naruto-sama is one of the is on the is on and is now the sole heir to a clan, the CRA applies to him. The pink banshee started and Naruto's eyes twitched. I have a question. You didn't know about me until now, so why didn't Sakura go into Sasuke? So why didn't Sasuke go into CRA? Naruto asked, trying to outmaneuver them as he already knew this was coming. He didn't want to pursue him as he might run away. The pink banshee explained. Well, then apply the same principle to me. If you force me into CRA, I will leave the village and the Senju, Uzumaki, Namikaze, and pure-blooded Uchiha line will end with me. Naruto stated out loud and clearly, and Jiraiya scoffed. He didn't know why his godson wouldn't want a harem, but he was just like Minato and idealistic. Hinata is the only one for me, Naruto said, and Hinata turned bright red. Kids with Naruto-kun, Hinata thought we were fainting. Naruto quickly rushed to her and caught her just before she hit the deck. She hasn't fainted in years, Naruto said, chuckling. So are we clear about CRA? Naruto asked with a serious voice, but you can't refuse its law. The pink banshee tried to explain, but she couldn't but feel a bit scared of him. took down a biju along. I suppose it's a civilian like you that are going to force me. Naruto, I suppose it's a civilian like you that are going to force me. Naruto luckily asked. He didn't want to flaunt his power, but in this case, he was forced. The pink banshee flinched at his tone, and nothing more. He was trying to set him up with Sakura, but it appears it's too late. The shinobi side never really appreciated the CRA, especially the females. Just the thought of being turned into a baby factory made them want to puke. Anything else? Naruto asked, but everyone remained silent. The meeting is adjourned, the Hokage said, and everyone started leaving except Jiraiya, Naruto, and the fainted Hinata, who was regaining consciousness. That was a very interesting meeting, the Hokage explained. Yes, and they didn't want to kill me this time, Naruto said, chuckling. Although Sasuke didn't seem happy, Naruto said, can't really blame him. Jiraiya said, are you ready to head out? Jiraiya asked two things. Can Hinata go with us? And I would like to visit Kara before. Naruto said, and both Jiraiya and the Hokage nodded. Here, the Hokage gave him a paper to allow him to visit Kara. Meet with Jiraiya and Hinata at the North Gate in 2 hours. Then the Hokage said, and everyone left the room. IT department. Naruto made his way towards the interrogation and torture depression. The IT division was located near the Hokage Tower, so it was only a couple of minutes on foot. He entered the building, and suddenly a kunai came out of nowhere and grazed his cheek, drawing a bit of blood. Naruto turned around to see Anko trying to lick his blood, but apparently the wound was already closed. What kind of bleeding is this? Naruto asked, shaking his head. You are no fun, Anko pouted. So, what are you doing here, Mr. Uchiha? Anko asked, and Naruto sighed. My name is Senju Naruto, and I am here to see Gaara, Naruto explained, and Anko's eyes widened to the Senju name. Here, Naruto said, and her the Hokage's permission to visit the intimates. After you, Senju-sama, Nanko said, licking her lips and bowing deeply. Crazy snake lady, Naruto mumbled in thought. Naruto made his way down the stairs and came into a heavy metallic door with an ambush station outside. Naruto quickly showed him his permission and he was allowed to inside where the holding cell were. This section didn't have many cells when compared to Konoha's prison because the IT department was only temporary. The Naruto arrived to the last cell and looked inside. In there were Baki, Tamari, and Kankaro, all wearing chakra seals and resistical clothes. The Gaara, however, was chained to the middle of the room with a kanji circle around him. Come to clothes? Tamari asked, her voice broken and weak. Not my style. Naruto replied. She didn't understand how a 14-year-old defeated not only her sensei, who was a Jonin, but also her brother. In fact, I came here to talk to Gaara and explain a few things. Gaara, Naruto said, and Gaara looked up, locking eyes with Naruto. How is the seal? Naruto asked. How are you so strong? Gaara asked in intent to reply Naruto's original questions instead of replying to Naruto's original question. Naruto OST on darkness, sadness, and sorrow. Yeah, it's gonna get me copyrighted. So if you're gonna play it, go and search it up and play it behind the story as I read it out. The pain of being alone is really trouble, right? Naruto asked, and Gaara's eyes widened. I don't know why, but I understand your feeling so well that it hurts me. Naruto said, and everyone was silent. But I have very precious people now, and I would never allow anyone to hurt them. Naruto said, why do that for strangers? Why do that for strangers? Gaara asked with a shaking voice. Because they took my solitude and loneliness. Naruto said they saved me from my hell, and because of that they are precious to me, and I would do anything for them. Naruto explained. Love, is that why you are so strong? Gaara muttered in thought. Hinata-chan, Hokage Jiji, Iruka Sensei, Kakashi Sensei, and more. Naruto said, smiling. I don't have anyone like that. You are lucky, Gaara said sadly. You just have to look around, and not very far, Naruto said, pointing towards his brother and sensei. When I placed the barrier, they jumped in, even knowing that you might lose control and kill them as well. Naruto explained. Really? Gaara shakingly asked. Of course, Gaara. We are we are your brother and sister. We would do anything for you. Kankaro said, we are brothers. I would do anything for you. Kankaro said, patting him in the back. Thank you, Gara said, smiling for the first time in a long time. And that's all. End of music. Before we begin again, I need to tell you that Naruto said beat his lip but continued. I was the one that killed your father. Naruto said killing someone else's father is hardly a good thing when starting a friendship. Good, Gara said, and Naruto thought it for a moment before regaining his senses. Good, Naruto asked in disbelief. Yes, he turned me into a weapon and then tried to kill me on several occasions by sending assassins. Besides, he was never a father to me, any of us. Kara explained, and Naruto sighed in relief. Now I have a good news and bad news, Naruto said, and the Sand team focused on him. The demands we made towards the Sand were financial reimbursement and the Ichibi. The Naruto said, and everyone's eyes widened, which means that you, Gaara, wouldn't be allowed to leave the village. Naruto said, and Gaara remained silent. However, you might be able to join our ranks our ranks and be a Jinchuriki like me. Naruto explained, and Gaara nodded. He never really enjoyed his time in the sand, so maybe Konoha would be a nice place for a nice change of pace. What about you, Tamari? What about us? Tamari asked. He didn't know what they were planning for them, and it could be execution as an offer of good faith towards the sand. We are offering you a choice. You can remain here in the leave as shinobis, or you can return to your home village. Naruto explained, and they all started thinking that we stay with our little brother. Tamari and Kankaro said, and Naruto chuckled and turned to Baki, who remained silent through the whole meeting. I can't remain here. I have people there. Baki shakingly said, and Naruto nodded. I understand. Naruto said and got up. I am going to go get the fifth Hokage since the old man is retiring. When I come back, I will take you to ramen and my treat. Naruto said. Ramen? Gara asked. They apparently didn't have those type of food there. Ramen is the food of gods. You will love it. See you in a few days. Naruto said and left the IT department, heading towards the gates while Jiraiya and Hinata were waiting for them. Naruto, you are a strange person, Gara thought. In Sand Village Council Room, it had been a couple of days since the failed invasion and the scene severely of the invading force arrived at Suna to inform them of a terrible mistake and even worse failure. News that the Kazakage was killed in combat forced the council to be summoned and the demands of the leave to be answered. Of the 1,000 shinobis, they sent only a couple dozen survived to tell the tale. It was a massacre to the Sand Shinobis to lose so many and much gain nothing in return. The Sand never stood a chance. Even with Otto and Gara's power combined, they were utterly defeated. The Suna Council was composed of 12 members, now only 10, since the Kazekage was dead and Baki, the Jonin commander, was missing in action or dead. Missing in action or dead. What the mess Dai said. Dai was one of the youngest members of the council. He was a Chunin who got recently promoted and was the head of the intelligence in the sand. What do you want to do? Aki asked. Aki was a middle-aged man. He was a retired Chunin from the shinobi life and chose a single civilian life with his wives and kid. I say we fight, Kimi. Kimi said. Kimi was one of the few civilians in the council. He was the leader of the civilian council and ran all the stores in the village. We can't fight. We lost a fifth of our shinobis to the invasion. That attack was a leap of faith and wild card. We are severely weakened right now, and we probably wouldn't be able to hold an attack should the leaf go to war with us. According to reports that Shinjuriki was able to defeat Gara and kill the Kazekage along with 2,000 shinobis of 2,000 of our own that our own shinobis with a single jutsu. Yura, and everyone's eyes widened. What would they do against such a overwhelming force? We can't do anything else but to surrender to their terms, Yura said, sighing. Their village took a very hard blow and would take years to recover. We can surrender to them, Kimi said. We broke the peace treaty, we invaded and lost. We have no choice but to surrender the money and the Ichibi to them, Yura said. They wanted our Biju They want our Biju that's unacceptable, Aki said. Would you prefer war, Yura? Rhetorically asked. We can win. We will have the home field advantage, Dai explained. And their Jinchuriki use the same jutsus to and obliterate the village. Konoha isn't considered the strongest of the five for no apparent reason. They won all three world wars, and the East invasion was proof their strength wasn't diminishing. Yura explained, I told you many times the alliance makes you dependent and weak. I never thought of seeing this village fall to such degree. Chiho said. Chiho was one of the elders of the clan and the one that performed the seal on Gara. How much money are they asking? Kimi asked. For property damage and living costs, they asked for 50 billion. Yura said, that will almost destroy our economy. We must to negotiate with them, Kimi said. These terms are non-negotiable. We should never have placed our faith on Orochimaru. And of all people, Yura said, shaking his head. So what's left of this village? Without help, we will probably no longer be considered a shinobi village among the great five. Dai said, we must make new alliances. Aki explained, and a few shinobi nodded. And if you nodded, a new alliance would come with cement their growth, so they can stand back up and prevent any attack. Send word to the hidden rock. Send word to the Shuchikage. Yura said. That's all for part 25 of Legacy. If you wanna be notified for future parts, then the best way is by subscribing. That's all for this video. I have to see you in the next one. Bye bye.